Hello everyone, my name is Alfredo Moran and I'm the Pride of Livingston's current PR/Webmaster Officer, which basically just means I'm in charge of the social media as well as keeping our members and our community up to date with performances, competitions, or any other announcements that they might need to know about. Since it is the 2020-2021 school year, we obviously don't have many of those going on, so therefore I decided that I want to do my own mini project for the PR. And obviously, since I absolutely love the Pride of Livingston and have always been fascinated by its history, I decided to go to interview both Mr. Leverett as well as Sophia Trujillo and ask them a little bit about that and even play a couple of mini games with them. So that's basically what this is. Thank you for stopping by and I hope that you enjoy. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself and explain your role with the Pride of Livingston?
Hi, I'm Mr. Leverett. I am the director of music here at Livingston High School and the proud director of the Pride of Livingston since 2016, I think. I think this is my 5th year teaching. Yeah, awesome. I love being here.
What high school did you attend?
I attended Golden Valley High School in Merced, California.
What did you bring from your experience from there to LHS, if anything?
Being a high school, when I was a high school student, I loved band. I knew from the first year I was there, this is something I probably was going to end up doing and I wanted to do. I like to think I bring a lot of what I learned over there and ways to approach rehearsal and ways to approach developing in an ensemble and developing in an ensemble sound. I like to think I brought my interpretation on that here. Also, passion for what we do. We get to do a lot of fun stuff. You know, the high school band is a very unique ensemble. It's a very unique group on high school campuses. Tons of fun.
Why did you choose the instrument that you did?
Okay, this is a story. So I chose to be a percussionist because a friend of mine, we just finished 8th grade. We both went to Our Lady of Mercy School in Merced as a private school, no band, none of that. I didn't get to enjoy middle school band. But he was like, "Hey, I'm trying out for drumline. You should come do it too." And I was like, "Okay." So I played shaker my freshman year of high school in the fall. I played shaker for the marching drum line, and then I picked up the bass drum for my sophomore year. So I chose percussion because that was what was offered. And then my band director said, "Hey, we need trombone players," and that sounded really cool. And I was able to form an embouchure and make a buzz on the day we tried out the trombone, and so I really liked that. So I chose that instrument too. You could argue I didn't choose my instruments, but I kind of did. I liked it. It was awesome. It was fun.
Sometimes the instrument chooses you.
Yeah, there you go.
Since you started marching band in around 2007 or so, I think it was, do you think that there has been any changes in or preference in the style of parade?
Absolutely. There's been a definite shift to try to get more winter guard and winter percussion elements out. And you see that most in like the marching percussion competition, NCBA events. But you see the winter guard elements frequently, down the whole street. And that's a great thing. There's room for traditionalism as well, but that's still a great thing. As far as the band stuff is considered, personally, I haven't seen too much change since I've been in it. From just purely thinking about the band block going down the street. I see a lot of that tradition still remains. I see, just talking about the activity in general, I think a lot of it has still stayed the same. You do see some bands that like experiment with formations and things, but I'd say most of the groups doing the Northern California band reviews, they generally look the way they did 10 years ago and maybe even 10 years before that from a band standpoint.
How do you think the Pride of Livingston has developed over the past 4 or 5 years or so that you've been here?
They've been good. I think we've done a pretty decent job of keeping up the great work that Mrs. Flores has done here and all the directors before have done here. With this most recent year, that's a little bit of an exception. The current group of kids we have, I think it's the group that can, rise above what we're dealing with and if not totally rise above, at least come through and keep what we have here going. So I think we've done a pretty good job.
If you had to explain each instrument to someone who has no idea about them, how would you describe them?
I guess we'll just go in score order. So the flute, that's like the lining of a cloud. So like every cloud has a silver lining. The flute is the silver lining. That's because that instrument is the overtone. It generally you will hear a good flute, but when it blends with an ensemble, it's almost like a color, and it's like whoa, it's that, it's that extra octave above, just really colors the whole thing. The clarinet, oh man, takes a special person to play the clarinet well. But it's so important. A band without clarinets, you're missing a lot of that upper mid to upper like part. So it's a warm instrument. It can fill a lot of roles, and we're just talking about the soprano B flat clarinet. It has a massive range. It fills it all up. The saxophone family. Oh man, the saxophone is the middle of our sound, from the alto to the tenor to the bari, the ones we commonly use. The way that family works, it is a reed family, so you're still going to get that warm sound and that fuzzy like saw wave pattern. Um, but you have to treat those instruments like they're one, because they're really just one instrument that has been like drawn out across multiple octaves. So that's really cool. If you're a good team player, you should be a sax player, because you're gonna it's almost like you're taking one instrument and spreading it amongst all these people and saying, okay, we're going to sound really similar, but we're in different octaves and we're each filling out different parts of the chord. Get into brass stuff. Trumpet, king of all instruments. Go trumpets. I'm not a trumpet player, but that they're really important. They're who we listen to. A jazz band's balance, we direct it all to the lead trumpet player. So like they're super important. Trombones, awesome. They're kick butt. They don't get enough credit, but they're that nice low middle brass sound. They can fill that role pretty well. The baritone is one of the closest instruments we can get to a human voice. It sounds gorgeous. It sounds like a lower male voice. And the tuba is our basso profundo down there, nice and strong. We always need that strong foundation. Percussionists. Everyone wants to be a percussionist. So I probably don't have to say too much else, but it's one of the few instruments where we get to hit and create art. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. I'm sure many people would love that. Oh, I get to hit this and it's productive. Oh, that's great. Sure, I skipped over a few. I skipped over one of your instruments. I skipped over the oboe, our cute little duck call. But there you go.
Anyways, if you had all the money in the world, what is something that you would like to do for the Pride of Livingston?
Oh man, if we had all of the money in the world, an update of all of our instruments, 3 or 4 extra depending on each of the sections. So for example, for the clarinets, I'd probably get like 5 or 6 extra. But for the trombones, maybe just 3 or 4 would be fine. But new instruments, so that we would have something to grow off of, because a lot of our instruments, they've been going for generations. And yeah, the repair shop is good, but there's a certain point where you can't really repair the type of wear and tear. More uniforms. I think our uniforms look great, but more uniforms to match, the various body shapes and body types we have here. If I had all the money in the world, I'd get a bigger room. And this room is it's okay width-wise and like this way, but it could be bigger. That'd be nice, but it's okay. But if we could just get a bigger ceiling, that'd be good, because that would help us get ready for concert stuff a little bit more. The ceiling's just a little too low to where we get inaccurate sound. So we can make our concert rep sound pretty good in here, but then when we go somewhere else, it can throw all of us off to go like, wait, we sound totally different. Oh, that's because like it's a lot taller. That's a part of it, and also just pre-show jitters and getting nervous too. That's definitely part of our own execution. It can always be better, but yeah, rooms, uniforms, instruments.
What has been one of your proudest achievements as a band director?
Oh man, the Encinal band review in the rain. Oh, that was so fun. Was that your freshman year?
That was my freshman year, yeah.
Yeah, it was your freshman year. Oh man, that was cool. We got to take some sweepsticks home. You guys had a pretty good run through. It was like a mess. It was a really fun senior night. That was just a fun day, and it wasn't fun, but it was fun. It's a good memory now. That's probably the proudest moment. I guess the second proudest moment would be my first year here. Being the new guy, it's like you just feel like you're messing up everything every day, and that you're like destroying this program. And it's like, oh no, I don't want to be that guy. I want to be good for these kids. It was senior night. One of the kids, his name was Efren. He didn't have an escort, and so he asked me to be his escort. I was like, wait, you don't want me? It was cool. It was awesome though. I ended up escorting him out, and he picked me up. And Efren's a tall guy, and he picked me up on the field in the night. I was like, oh no, waving around the new band director. But that was another, I guess, prideful moment. Like, okay, I guess the kids see I'm trying, so that is good.
Are there any memorable band review moments with the students?
Oh man, yeah. There's a lot. Now that you ask me, I'm forgetting ones, but the one that comes to mind was a few years ago. We were turning the corner at I think it was the Lincoln band review. We were turning the corner for that, and one of our color guard members had like a serious like her leg cramped out, and she couldn't like it was like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And that's probably the most memorable one that sticks out to me, just because it was like such an urgent moment. It's like, we're turning the corner, it's gonna happen right now, and she's like crying and sobbing. But good news is she ended up performing, did a great job, and we got her a banana after, and everything was okay. Just as far as like that's probably number one.
Are there any other memorable moments for you as a band director?
I don't know. Let me think. As a band director, you know, those Disneyland performances, those were huge. You know, the first one was really cool. You know, just getting to experience that with my band when I was in high school and in college. It's something I was dreaming about. You know, like, oh, I'm gonna be a band director one day. But now, as like an adult, I go like, wow, this is so surreal. Like this. Sometimes I wake up and it's like, oh, I'm here. This is cool. So I guess those larger performances, like a Disneyland one, is cool. You know, just getting, it's like, those are my people. They're awesome and they're doing great. And you guys are so lucky you get to watch them as I come down the street. You guys are my people, and so that was probably the coolest a memorable moment as a director.
Do you currently have any goals or aspirations for the future for the Pride of Livingston?
Definitely to build back. I don't necessarily care about size, but bringing back some of the standards that we've kind of had to let go a little bit, just because of the nature of this year. You know, a little bit like there are certain things we can't do and we could do before. That's going to be a key component, building back and adding on some of those performances again, like Disneyland, and being able to travel a little bit more. It would be cool to take you guys to the Rose Parade. That would be awesome. But that, you know, like from the little we took from COVID-19, that might set us back a little bit, but that would be an awesome kind of next step.
All right, we're gonna take a small break and we're gonna play a mini game. Are you up for that?
Yeah.
It's called Guess That March. So I'm going to go ahead and play a short clip of the beginning of a couple marches, and your goal is to guess that march.
Oh man, you're gonna get me. I'm so scared now. Oh no.
You can also ask for a second clip of that same march if you're having a difficult time with that round. You can also get an extra point if you guess if the Pride of Livingston has played that specific march or not in the past. The first round should be pretty easy. Round one.
No idea. No, I'm sorry. Kanizi Indolo by Future. And yes, we have played it.
Correct. That round was probably fairly easy. Round two. Is that Arnhem? It is Arnhem.
That was not the GV run through, right? Or was it the GV, one of the GV ones?
It was 2006 at the.
Yeah, that was my freshman year.
I wasn't quite sure if you were in high school that year, so I went ahead and threw that in there. Round three.
I think it is a Livingston one. I think it's one that has been done in the past, but I'm not sure. I'm just going to say a name. I'm probably wrong, so don't judge me too hard. Gallito.
It is El Gallito, and we did play it. 2014.
Yes, yeah.
2 rounds left. Round 4.
This is a Slavic Women's Farewell. LCAP played it last year, right? Or they played it recently.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Correct.
Cool.
And do you think we have played in the past or no?
I don't think so.
As far as I can tell, we have not. All right, last round.
We play that one more time.
Same clip or next clip?
Next clip. No, they did this. I know. I don't know the name. But I think LHS did it. LHS did it, but I don't know the name.
You did get the point. LHS did do it. It was 2012, and it was the George Washington's bicentennial.
That's right. I've heard it. And so I remember that. That was like, oh, I see it. Was that this? Never mind. I'm not gonna guess. I wanted to say that was like the Santa Cruz performance of it.
It was.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So because I see it like the video in my head.
All right, that concludes our first mini game. So we'll go back to the questions, and then we have one at the end. What do you think is a misconception about band?
I think a misconception about band is that, well, there's many, but I think one is that you have to already know music before you come in. You can start just fresh on day one. It'll be hard. You'll have to put in a lot of work, but you get a lot out of it. I was one of those kids. We always have a few of those kids try every year. I know many of those kids, some of those kids too, who started started day one, and they turn out fine. They're productive members of the group, and they're great people to have along. You don't need musical training. Just come do it, come try it out, and build a family.
What do you think is a misconception about being a band director?
Ooh, there's a lot. Being mean all the time. We would be afraid of our director back when I was in high school, and I think that people, they might see us and they might develop like, oh, it just yells all the time and just screaming all the time, but that's not throwing sticks at kids all the time. But that's not the case, and that's something that I like to try to combat as a director too. That is a common misconception about band directors in general.
If you had to pick one march from the Pride of Livingston's history, what would it be and why?
It would be cool to give Attila a shot. That'd be fun. I just love those Eastern European marches, and it's good.
Next up, do you have any other marches besides that you'd like us to play?
Not necessarily right now, no. I think if you would have asked me like a year ago and we were getting more into the march selection process, and before things went a little crazy, I'd probably have like a little bucket list. It'd be fun to do some of those marches that I did in high school. I'd probably need some time to think about it again.
Going back to your first year, 2016, what were your thoughts when you first became a band director?
Oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. Oh my gosh, there's 100 things. They're going past me. They're flying past me at hyperspeed. Oh my gosh. Ah.
I'm sure, oh my gosh, is probably your motto of the year. What did you know about Livingston High School or the Pride of Livingston when you were applying for this job position?
I didn't know too much. I had a few friends who were from Livingston High School, and he was a pretty close friend of mine. His name's Joban Aguilar, and he's a great musician, great dude. And so it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. All right, Joban's from Livingston. That's neat. I also knew that there was trouble getting like a consistent person to come out that summer and get the job. And Mr. Schmidt over at Merced High School, actually, he called me. He's like, hey, you have your bachelor's degree, right? You need to apply for this job. Just do it. It's fine. And I was like, no, I'm not ready. I don't have my teaching credential. I can't do it. I'm not ready. But I ended up doing it, and it's been like one of the greatest decisions I've ever made. Like this is a great school that I've gotten to know so many great kids here and so many great people here. And we get to make music, and we really get to make like art.
Livingston definitely has its own special community and vibe.
Absolutely.
What did you learn about the Pride of Livingston after settling here?
I learned that there was a lot of tradition. There were things that it was always my perspective as a student, okay, director gets the final say. Well, that's true now still. It's like, no, there's things that continue. Like like the whole March selection thing that we've done here where you guys get to pick the March. That was not a thing like that. And actually talking to directors of other schools, that's not a thing. So it's like, oh, that's cool. And that is one example of other traditions that like continue, like going to the game. Well, this is not something that is just band specific, but like when everyone was singing the alma mater at the end of the rally the first time that I was here, I was like, what's happening? This I've never seen this before, It's been a really cool thing to like get to experience and become a part of, seeing like all of the traditions and the Pride of Livingston and in the school as a whole too.
If you had to describe the Pride of Livingston in 3 words, what would they be?
Loud, surprisingly loud. What's a good one word for roughhousing? Whatever that word is. Man, this is a hard question. Committed.
I think
Because
those are.
y'all do a lot.
Furthermore, why do you think the Pride of Livingston is so great?
I think the Pride of Livingston is great because it does not have to be as good as it is. It chooses to be as good. The kids choose to come out every day and keep rehearsing and keep trying to be better. So the fact that it is as good as it is a testament to the membership. Normally, like in other towns, there's like, oh, we got to be better than them. They're the other band, and we got to be, we're the best band in town. But it's like with y'all, it's like, no, we're the high school band. You can be lazy if you wanted to and just say, oh, well, we're here at the game, we're fine. But it's like, no, we're here at the game, and then there's a band review tomorrow, and we're gonna throw down at it. And it's like that's super cool. That it's being pushing. It's that aspect of pushing.
Kind of talking a little bit more about that. Why should students participate in band or color guard in a high school level?
It's a chance to make art with peers and people your age. It's a chance to express yourself. It's a chance to be a part of a team. For some kids, it might be their only team experience in high school before leaving high school and getting into college. It's a great place to build a family amongst your like you. There's people you're going to meet as a band member that you're going to know for the rest of your life. It's crazy how that works out, but that's what happened to me anyway. At least I know everyone has different experiences, but also the high school band is such a unique thing to be a part of. It's something you don't want to miss out on, even if you just try it, even if it's just like a 1 year thing. It's something you want to get into. Oh, and traveling is pretty cool too. Some people have not been out. Some people don't leave their hometown ever, and so that is an opportunity to say, no, I've been to this city. I've actually traveled like 40 times in high school. It was all because I was with the band, and that's cool too.
And to wrap it up, the question section of the interview, what can students learn and or take away from being part of band or color guard?
This does tie in a little bit into the last question, but being a member of a team, doing something beyond just doing it for a grade or because you get something. This is one of those activities where you give, and your reward is the pleasure you get from the act of giving. And so it's like that's putting it the way I just said it makes it sound like it's a selfless thing. You're doing it for yourself, but you're giving your time, you're giving your energy, you're giving your patience, you're sometimes giving your comfort, because like you might be in a group with people that you don't like necessarily. So you're giving a lot of yourself. And that is good practice to do. And you can take that and actually apply it to like a charitable organization or others. You also learn a lot about time management, because if you don't learn about time management will teach you a lesson sometime. Yeah, you learn a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with the music, but also everything to do with it too.
Alrighty, we're gonna move on to the last game called Marching Band Monday Mini Quiz. I know that you don't have Instagram, so you can't follow along with the Marching Band Mondays, so I brought them to you. We have 5 rounds, Some of these might be easy or hard depending on your knowledge on certain areas. I'm going to read you a short question, and you have 4 options, A, B, C, and D, and you have to guess which one is correct. So round 1. What year did the Pride of Livingston first use rifles? In 2006, in 2013, 2008, or 2019?
2006.
Wrong. It's 2008.
2008, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 2008 when they had their first males in the color guard, and that's when they first used rifles.
Yeah, I remember the video. I've seen the video. It's like, it's old. It's when I was in high school still. But.
All right, round 2. Which came first for the Pride of Livingston? Is it A, new band uniforms, B, new drum major uniforms, C, new color guard uniforms, or D, new color guard leathers?
Oh, I'm totally gonna mess up all of this. Don't mind me as I look across the pictures on the wall. I'm gonna guess drum major uniform.
Wrong. It was actually the color guard leathers that they got first. And then,
yeah,
then the following year, it was the band uniforms with the drum major uniforms. And then I think 2 years later was the new color guard uniforms. The leathers in 2009 and the uniforms the color guard uniforms in 2014, I believe.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's what it's about, like right here. So that does make sense.
Round 3. Which band review, quote, replaced the Delta band review? Is it A, Pittman, B, Cupertino, C, Del Oro, or D, Fairfield?
The Pittman one, the Delta band review for the longest time was like the first review. So
Yeah.
that was the one. But it's cool. Pittman's closer.
That is true. Round 4. Which 2 band reviews do both LHS and LMS attend? Is it A, Pittman and Santa Cruz, B, Santa Cruz and Lincoln, C, CCBR and Santa Cruz, or D, just Santa Cruz?
It's CCBR in Santa Cruz.
Correct. Yes. And the last round to wrap it all up, round 5. What is the oldest recording of the Pride of Livingston on YouTube? Is it A, the 1998 West Side band review? Is it B, the 2000 Cupertino band review? C, the 2006 Delta band review? Or D, the 2008 Santa Cruz band review?
Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna guess. I feel like there's one from the 90s, but this is a total guess. I'll go with the one from the 90s.
No, it is the 2006 Delta band review. As far as I can tell, I haven't found any from before that. There's a handful of the 90s from other MHSD schools like Merced, and I think Merced, Golden Valley, maybe Atwater. But then besides that, I haven't found any for Livingston until 2006.
Because I'm gonna mess up your editing, so you can't edit this out. You've been doing a great job, just with handling the social media stuff, and doing this whole year on top of that. So, you can't edit it out, man. Cool.
Is there any last remarks that you'd like to share with our general audience?
Sometimes doing stuff, making art, and getting to make music and getting to perform, that is always going to be important, no matter what direction the world is turning on any given day, no matter what the priority is. Oh, we got to do this thing. We got to do this. We got to think about our career. We got to think about, we got to be in the future. We got to be thinking about money. All that stuff is important, but so is art. And getting to make art as a high school student is something you can do for 4 years. Getting to make money is something you'll get to do for the rest of your life. So just keep that in mind, kids. I know the world's tough right now, but your time in a high school setting, or whatever high school you're at, it's limited. Your days are numbered, and who knows, something could come up and snatch it away before it's supposed to be done.